I can say rise and shine, give God the glory, glory, because it's 7:30 p.m. here in Wilmington, Delaware on the East Coast. Don't know where you're watching from, but it's nighttime here. And so I'm going to say thank God for the hours that we have spent this day. And hopefully, we have made some good decisions to make it a qualitative day and not one of a non productive day. Now, non productive could mean you just decided to do nothing, which is okay. But you know what I mean by every time you try to do something, you don't want to do it, you ain't got the energy to do it, okay? And you just said, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Well, guess what? Tomorrow ain't promised to you, right? And so, welcome to the Free to Hope, Free from Recovery, Emerge Enlightened and Empowered to give hope to others, help others prosper equally. Now, you are here because I've been trying to do something different these last couple of days, right? And that I wanted to see what the evening viewership would look like if I repeated from a review angle of the daily reflections from Alcoholics Anonymous for today. And then also to give you a preview of tomorrow's AA daily reflection reading. This way, I can share with you, and maybe you can share with me how your day went when we reviewed earlier this morning the reflection reading for today entitled Cleaning House. And boy, do I have an update for you. Then I'm going to spend the last 10 minutes sharing with you a preview of tomorrow's topic entitled Entirely Honest. Ooh, I can't wait. So, first, let me let you know that from February the 22nd of 1990, while underneath a parked car, the end of my 14-year addiction and my mental illness, along with prostitution, I put myself underneath a parked car to get away from my stepson, who him and I were getting high, and I was doing all kinds of sexual favors for him. We both were at the age of 34, and we both suffered from the co-occurring disorder. He tried to do harm to me by administering the first punch. I jumped out the car and started running for my life. Got a flashback from the past when I played hide and seek. I would get underneath the bed when I was afraid or didn't want to be found. Well, as I was running, what I believe was for my life, I saw the slew of cars. If I just get underneath one of those cars, he can't get to me. And this is my evidence of me being underneath that parked car. Yes, 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 yes. Dreams of being an actress, a model, a phys ed teacher, a model. How did I get underneath the parked car at the age of 34? And so when I say that I sit before you as a miracle, you better believe it. Because while underneath that parked car, I did not feel worthy. I did not feel loved. I did not feel accepted. As a matter of fact, it was self loathing. It was guilt. It was shame. It was remorse. It was humiliation. Yes. As a prostitute at the age of 23, I committed murder because I had an abortion and I consider that murder. So, how could God possibly love me? The rapes, the beat ups, the setups, robbing dead bodies, stepping over dead bodies, jumping in and out of cars, turning tricks, jumping out of windows to save my life. Even fell off a porch roof. Yes. Robbed dead bodies, stepped over dead bodies, seen them stacked up in the closet. So you see, I have a story. And guess what? So do you. But through that experience, which I now know was my knee bowing experience, which caused me to confess with my tongue, whoever they say you are, take me out this life now or show me a better way. Voila, it's been 33 plus years later. So I have been prepared to sit before you, equipped, qualified, credentialed to be a transformational speaker, a spiritual coach, and consultant for you or your organization or your group. If you want transparency and authenticity, I'm your person. Why? Because I found out to thy own self be true. And as a result of these 12 spiritual principles, that the God that I now know and found in Alcoholics Anonymous these past 33 plus years is a loving and caring God. So I know who I am now and whose I am. Applying those 12 spiritual principles to all earthly matters has helped me one day at a time not to go back to drinking, not to go back underneath that car, not to give anything or anybody that much power to make me decide to do that. Oh, hell no, 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 no. I refuse to tell God to kiss my behind. I refuse to let anything remove me where God has placed me. Therefore, staying connected to this spiritual program within a spiritual fellowship, now incorporating the 5 agreements by the Ruiz family, and most recently, the transformational teachings by Dr. Sonja. I'm on fire. And so I want you to come to me. I am planning an event on May the 20th. I got it all mapped out, all set up, all the ideas, all the things in place. I just don't have a venue yet. But guess what? The Holy Spirit gave me one. He said, guess what? You can use your own parking lot in front of your door. That's right. Get 50 or 60 chairs, set them up on the side and on this side. Get 2 rows of red carpet coming out your door and create a walkway. Huh? So guess what? Thank you, Holy Spirit. So yes, I am inviting you May the 20th. I'll give you all the details later because I'm going to be sharing with you different aspects of my life because I believe in the holistic approach. So I'm going to be sharing with you my personal clothing line, my personal clothing in a fashion show, and I'm going to need some models to model my clothing. And I'm going to avail to you my first book, and I'm in the process of writing its continuation. So that will be introduced to you on May the 20th as well. And then I have a verbal message that I want to share with you that will talk about the journey to transparency and authenticity with the foundation of humility. And so, save the date. It's going to be May the 20th from 11 to 2. And I will share with you the venue because if something else doesn't come up, I think I like my idea better. What do you think? Having an outdoor thing? Yes. Okay. So I think that's all for announcements. So let's talk about the daily reflection reading for today. Okay. So when I shared this morning with you, this is what I shared, right? And it says here, right? We I want to make sure I got the right one. Yes, this is on the 5th step. And it reads, somehow being alone with God doesn't seem as embarrassing as facing up to another person until we actually sit down and talk aloud about what we have so long hidden. Our willingness to clean house is still largely theoretical. This is from the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 60. And the person in recovery writes, it wasn't unusual for me to talk to God and myself about my character defects. But to sit down face to face and openly discuss these intimacies with another person was much more difficult. I recognized in the experience, however, a similar relief to the one I had experienced when I first admitted I was an alcoholic. I began to appreciate the spiritual significance of the program and that this step was just an introduction to what was yet to come in the remaining 7 steps. Okay, so basically, the 12 spiritual principles formed by Alcoholics Anonymous nearly 90 years ago, and I've been a part of them for 33 plus years. And so each spiritual principle is designed to have the individual go through a spiritual transformation through experiences and awakenings in order to achieve a psychic change. So when we who are drug addicts, alcoholics, and the lifestyle that goes with it, none of us woke up one morning and say, I want to be an alcoholic, I want to be a drug addict, I want to be a prostitute. It's called progression. And so, as a result of these 12 spiritual principles, it's not until we had that knee bowing experience, and everyone will, in one way, shape, form, or fashion, that we recognize that what we have is a disease, like many other diseases. And this one is kind of, insidious, right? It's crazy, right? Because a lot of people think it's all about willpower. But just like anything else, it's a powerful disease. And if you think about it, we are all addicted to something. And whatever that addiction you have, if it is causing your life unmanageable, then you need a 12-step program. But the fifth one is in particularly a very important one because it's saying to us as human beings, and I'll share my experience and my perspective because even though I have heard many, I can only share mine in order to set somebody free from recovery, emerge enlightened, and empowered to give hope to others, help others prosper equally. So when I did my 4th-step inventory, when I had to remove the physical mask, I had to, through these 12 spiritual principles, remove the inner mask that was blocking the sunlight of my creator. And I didn't know that in each and every one of his creations is a spot reserved just for him. And even though he gave us natural instincts, defects are those that have far exceeded their intended purpose. And so that is what we're having this 5th step about, to share those defects that were, again, God-given instincts that far exceeded their intended purpose. And so when I tell you that it took a lot of honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness to be able to sit in front of somebody that's in this recovery process and understands the benefit of a person sharing their deepest, darkest secrets in order to free themselves. Could you do that? Could you? I didn't think I could. But guess what? If I didn't, I would probably still be out there drinking and drugging and prostituting and probably would not be alive today. But when I said I didn't want to give anything or anybody that much power over me again, that means my deepest, darkest secrets. And so this process of the 5th step, it says admit it to God who already knows everything. Admit it to ourselves. I know you know, we know, I know, but I ain't telling nobody. But guess what? We need to tell another human being so they can help us get to the exact nature of our wrongs. and to evaluate, dissect, assess those character defects so that we can begin building character. That 4-step inventory, along with the domestication process talked about through the 5 agreements by the Ruiz family, shows us, gives us relief that said there's nothing wrong with you, but there was plenty that happened to you. All we need to do is to be willing to go back in our history to make a assessment, an evaluation, an inventory of the good, the bad, the indifferent. Meaning we needed to read the first few chapters of our book. Mine got me underneath that parked car at the age of 34. But guess what? 33 plus years later, I use my book as a reference book now, not my autobiography, because there I learned where the triggers and the patterns and all of that stuff, where I learned those attitudes, ideas, behaviors, and belief systems that got me underneath that parked car. Why? Because just about everything I learned was based on lies. Based on lies. Not particularly the fault of those responsible for taking care of us, because they didn't know either. When Christ died on the cross, one of the things he said, forgive them, for they not know what they do. I understand that today. And so as a result of applying it to this earthly journey, these spiritual principles, I have no secrets. You hear me? I am emptied like a trash can with a new bag. I tell on myself, to thy own self be true, because I'm not giving anything or anybody that much power ever again to remove me where God has placed me, and who has given me a gift of sobriety. And all he asks is that we stay sober and be willing to help another alcoholic achieve sobriety. And so that song Spiritual by Donald Lawrence says we are not natural beings having a spiritual experience. No, 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 no. We are spiritual beings living and walking this journey here on earth in this vessel. And so when we do that 5th step with the person in recovery, because I shared earlier who I did it with, and it didn't work out too well because I had an ulterior motive, but I did it the correct way, the spiritual way, the way that I was supposed to. And I got the relief, the spiritual relief that I expected, but not to the degree I had expected. It far exceeded my expectations. When I did my 5th step with my sponsor, it felt like I weighed 200 pounds. By the time I emptied that trash can, I was down to 135. I have no secrets. So the benefit of sharing those deep, dark secrets is the pathway to freedom. And once we utilize the first 4 steps that are spiritual in nature, we are prepared to face our dark past, which it says is our greatest possession. Yes, because it's no longer an autobiography. It is now a reference book. Okay, so that's more on the 5th step and the daily reflection reading for today. Cleaning house. I shared earlier, ain't a domestic bone in my body, but I'm trying, right? But I've learned that in order for me to continue to heal, I must be willing to reveal what I've been trying to conceal. For what? For who? There's no freedom in that. It's just prison. Oh, no, no, no. Hell no. I tell you, I'm cooking for Cocoa Pops, right? All right, so go to aa.org and look up the 12 spiritual principles and focus on the fifth step. Matter of fact, focus on all of them. Join me at an open Alcoholics Anonymous meeting so you can see what I've been doing for the last 33 plus years. I make my meetings every day in one way, shape, form, or fashion. Yes, I do. I got high every day for 14 years. You kidding me? And this is only required for me to attend for 1 hour to learn and to live the other 23 hours being joyous, happy, and free. Oh, you talking about an investment? All right. So let's talk about tomorrow's daily reflection reading for tomorrow, May the 4th. Okay, you ready? All right. Let's see what it's going to say. All right. Now, for tomorrow's reading, and I will be sharing at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Okay, that's the time that I have now moved my podcast from 9:30 to 10. So this reads for tomorrow, entirely honest. And it comes from the AA Big Book, pages 73 through 74, and it states, we must be entirely honest with somebody if we expect to live long or happily in this world. The person in recovery shares his experience and perspective. Honesty, like all virtues, is to be shared. It began after I shared my whole life story with someone in order to find my place in the fellowship. Later, I shared my life in order to help the newcomer find his place with us. This sharing helps me to learn honesty in all my dealings and to know that God's plan for me comes through true, honest openness and willingness. Okay? And so just let me give you a little snippet of this reading today, okay? I mean for tomorrow. So here it says here, we must be entirely honest with somebody if we expect to live long or happily in this world. What do you think about that? Can you really live long and happy if you have all kinds of secrets? No, 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 no. And once you think about it, wouldn't it be an awesome experience and opportunity to compare it like having diarrhea? How about that? Once you try to hold it, once you try, yes, you get to the point where you go, and it hurts coming out, but it feels so much better when it's out. See, I'm cooking for Cocoa Pops, but that's what a fifth step is. Emptying out that stinking, dirty garbage can that's filled with some good stuff. But we have to dissect it. We have to go through it, right? We have to evaluate each and everything. Yes. And we have to do it with one person at least. God already knows everything. You know what you done, what I done. And so true honesty, entire honesty, leads the way to a long and happy life. No longer am I looking over my shoulder or walking across the street. No. So entire honesty is the key to the foundation of being set free. I always say the sooner I tell the truth, the sooner I get better. The longer I lie, the longer it's going to take me to get better. When my God, who I didn't know underneath that park car, met me there, prepared me, delivered me to be sitting here before you, oh, he has my full attention. And so as a result of this fellowship where we come together who have the disease of alcoholism and mental illness and all related associated attitudes, ideas, behaviors, and belief systems, we come together because we recognize we need each other to help each other. Yes, we hurt ourselves and each other for so long, but we were chosen. We were chosen. And so being put on this spiritual pathway to a spiritual recovery requires honesty. I can't, he can, and I'm going to make a decision to let him. Okay? So let's see what else it says. Just a little snippet, okay? I don't want to give it all to you tonight, all right? And so he says, the person in recovery, he says, honesty, like all virtues, is to be shared. Could you imagine what our lives has been like over the years and generations and cultures and traditions? I mean it, lies, lies, and more lies. Based on what? Love? Based on love? All I've known in my life, except from my mother to a certain degree, it was all based on conditions. That's what the Ruiz family talks about, the domestication process. Dogs and cats, animals are domesticated, but guess who is too? We are. Punishment and rewards. You do this, I do that. You do this, you do that. You get this, you get that, right? Conditions. Thank God. Oh my God. He loves us unconditionally. My pastor, Christopher Allen Bullock, shared this past Sunday. His grace. His grace. His grace. And his mercy brought me through. I'm living this moment because of you. I want to praise you and thank you too, for it was your grace and your mercy that brought me through. See, when we have that knee-bowing experience, all bets are off. All bets are just not off, all bets are lost. Because until we have that knee-bowing experience, and I'm going to say it, brought about by humiliation, defeat, right? It's God's opportunity to say, I got your attention now. But guess what? You ever heard about surrendering to win? Surrendering to win. And so this whole aspect of being honest, we who are in a 12-step program had to admit 100% that we were done. And that opened up the door for us to receive the truth and the light and the spiritual path to freedom. From recovery, emerge enlightened and empowered to give hope to others, help others prosper equally. You know what it's like to lie, but how does it feel to be lied to? We have all kinds of reasons why we lie. And majority of all of our character defects are based in fear. And the acronym for fear is false evidence appearing real. And most of us got another word for fear: uck everything and run. If I want to put it nicely, forget everything and run. No, people like us, we need it raw. F everything and run. I'm not dealing with it. No, I'm getting out of here. I want to get high. I'm going to get drunk. F it, F it, F it. That will get you to your knee-bound experience real soon. Guess what? There's another acronym for fear. Face everything and recover. Face everything and be rejuvenated. Face everything and rejoice. Face everything and be restored. The truth is, the truth is, the truth is, the truth. Yours, mine's irrelevant. We're talking about the truth. To thy own self be true, so that you can receive the real truth from our Creator, and we can experience heaven here on earth. Okay? Now, that's a little tidbit of the reading for tomorrow. Entirely honest. Either we're going all the way or we're not going. So in recovery, it's not about perfection. It's about spiritual progress. We will stumble, we will trip, and we will often fall, but it's always in a forward position. Okay? So it's 8 o'clock. It's time for me to go to bed. All right? If it's God's will that we are reunited tomorrow morning from 9:30 to 10, we'll talk more about May the 4th. And then tomorrow, if it's God's will, we will meet again at 7:30. So mark your calendars, because I want it. Then husbands, bring your wives, right? Bring your female mates, right? Because I want you to go shopping for them. I want them to say, I want this, I want that, I want this, and I want to see how it looks on me. How about that? And say, do you like this? Do you like, you know what I mean? So on May the 20th, we're going to have a spiritual explosion. Yes. Because you will see the authenticity and transparent person right there in front of you. Yes, with my cuckoo for Cocoa Pop self. I will share with you my book and my verbal message that will lead us, you, to continue transparency and authenticity by way of the foundation of humility. Because if it's not humility, it's going to be humiliation. You best believe that. Have a good evening. Get some rest. To God be the glory. Good night.